everybody! I am back once again and we're doing some more walk cycles. I realized once I opened this up that after the previous animation stream, I never worked on the Hazel one after that, so it's still missing some of those in-betweens. I'm probably gonna keep working on that one later, but I figured it'd be better to start doing some Russell stuff on the side for this one. So I'm gonna scoot her out of the way real quick. There we go. And Russell's gonna be so much shorter. I gave him his own reference lines. Because he doesn't have the full gait that Hazel and Criff would have, we're going to be cutting it in half, but then we're going to be speeding it up, so we're taking out half of the frames that a normal walk cycle would have, and hopefully that'll math correctly and he'll be able to keep up with the two of them for the short I have in mind. Yeah, you're correct, Dr. Joe. Russell is way shorter than Hazel. He only goes up to her knees about, and the top of his head anyways. Once you add in the ears, he gets a lot taller. But, yeah, let's get started. Okay. So, just like the last time, we're gonna start off by making him a skeleton, because it's kind of hard to just jump straight into the, full shape of everything. So, we're starting on this one here. Is it harder to draw a smaller character walk cycle, at least when you try and match pacing? I haven't actually really tried before. This is all a little bit of experimental on my end. I have made a walk cycle for Russell before, but it was using a rig that I made in school, so it was a little bit different, and he wasn't walking next to anybody. He was just kind of walking by himself down just a miscellaneous trail, and it was just for practice. So this is all hypothetical, but I think if I get him walking half of the length that you see here, but I take out half of the frames that these guys will have, so all the in-betweens, like you can see here, then I think he'll be able to keep up with them and be walking at the same pace. Yeah, and I also made a Russell with the emu's walk cycle, Beatrice. But yeah, I wanted him to be by himself for this one, because I thought that would be more fun. So, gonna fix this reference line down here and just add on a little bit. Halfway mark is about here. Just want to split this up a little bit. And then I'm going to move this other reference out of the way so I can see a little bit clearer. If I can figure out which layer it's on. There we go. And we'll scoot this stuff. There it is. Up here, just so the camera line isn't getting me all mixed up. Okay. Oh! Thank you, Lando. That's very kind of you. Okay. So, we're going to start with the contact position for him, which is when the forward leg is just first touching down on the ground. So small head's going to be about that. He's got this wee little torso, and he's going to be having to absolutely stretch his legs to make that, but we want him to be doing kind of like a little speed walk. I'll make him a little bit bigger than this. I can always make adjustments later to make sure he fits next to Hazel and Griff with the proper height. Let's bump that up a little bit. There we go. torso, and then the front leg will be the one going forward. And the back one will be at the back, which means that the front arm is going backwards. And he's gonna have it kind of hiked up because he's doing a little speed walk. Actually, let's bump this back a little bit more. So you kind of twist your torso when you're walking. Go. Get his wee little hands in there. And I like to have the heel connecting at the line. Been loving the story so far. Thank you. I've been having a lot of fun with chapter 5. And yeah, I think the page going up tomorrow is definitely gonna be a big one. Okay, so guys, a little contact pose here. So the next one we're gonna do is the passing pose, where you have one leg on the ground and the other one is in that little middle phase, lifted up, kind of passing. That's gonna be on frame 9 and 10. We're gonna follow the chart just while we do the base, because I find it easier to think it out that way. But then once we get the frames that we need down, then we'll shrink it down so it's faster. So he's doing his little speed walk. Head in the same spot. Torso is the same as well. Except now, let's see, yes, it was the front leg was at the front. So it's going to be the one touching the ground, and the back one is passing, so it's going to be like this. Griff being a teenage hooligan is not how I would describe him, but okay. You know, that was just the name of the walk cycle, or I was using a video for reference, the Kevin B. Perry 100 Walks reference, which is excellent if you're getting into animating. And that was just the name of it, and I thought it was good. I'm actually gonna move his torso forward just a little bit. Okay. And I think, because he's doing this little speed walk, so his arms are up. So unlike Griff and Hazel's, I don't think his arms are going to drop down very much. They're going to kind of stay... They're still going to drop a little bit, but he's got them kind of bent up because he's trying to keep momentum. So we need this to line up. And the back arm is doing the same thing, so we're just going to see the elbow peeking out a little bit there. And that's the passing pose. So now we're going to do the next contact, which is going to be basically the same as this one, except the legs are going to switch places. And that one is going to be on 17, 18. Let's find it here, 17 and 18. Blew all my money on Transformers and soon Battlefield 6. I wish I could support the coffee. Yeah, we always appreciate support, but you know what? That sounds really important, so don't you worry about it. Since most of the characters are pretty humanoid, have you been able to pretty well stick to normal anatomy? Or have you come across any characters that you look at them and go, ugh, that doesn't work? Yeah, it's been mostly fine. Like, the biggest thing is the type of species they are has a big effect on their general shape. So like Hazel being a deer, she's very, very skinny and slim. She's got very long limbs and a long body, where Griff is a bit bulkier. that's pretty much it. Honestly, the hardest part I've had with any of the designs is their necks, because with some of them, like Griff's, they get kind of hidden with this, you know, longer fur that goes over top of it, and then with Russell's, his neck is so short that it basically just goes from head to shoulders. So sometimes when there's a view where you see like the back of his head, or if he has his head pointed upwards, anything like that, it can get kind of awkward to draw. That's really about it, to be honest. I don't think I've drawn any super crazy animals that would mess up the system I've got going here. Let's put this out so we can see a little bit. Sketching his little body again. Giraffe character incoming. I mean, I was thinking of doing a giraffe character. They would have such a hard time just existing. I don't know how they'd get into buildings. It could be interesting to explore later. Right, okay, so the front one is at the back now. And we're basically just gonna match this first drawing, tracing over it. I mean, except for the arms, obviously, because they have to be in a different position. I think it's going to be kind of like this. I don't like that. Let's try that again. More of this. Yeah, I like that better. It's got a little twist going. Yeah, okay. That'll make sense. Hey, random question, how's California? I've never been to California, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, we're not American. We're Canadian. There we go. Okay, that one is done, so we're gonna do the next passing pose, which will be on 25 and 26. And this one is basically the exact same as the last one, except flipped. So the blue leg, which is the back leg, is going to be on the ground. Sketch it in here. See the back arm in this pose. Front one will be about there. We'll probably see just a little elbow sticking out. Multi-legged gremlin. Yep, you got it. And then we're gonna take this first pose and copy that onto, I believe it's 33 and 34, because that's how we get it to loop around. Just do that, and then we'll delete these ones that magically appeared because they're not supposed to be there. And now we're going to do the in-betweens. never actually watched a stream other than leaving it on for Twitch drops, so this is definitely a first. Yeah, I haven't really watched that many streams myself. I watched my old manager's gaming streams at one point, but I haven't really done that in a while. Just remembered these frames are when we bring in the low point and the high point. So after contact is when they're at the lowest point in the walk, so we're gonna bump down his head just a little bit. It doesn't need to be crazy. And same with his body, so we're just gonna draw it in just a little bit lower than the other ones were. Yes, okay, the red leg is in the front, so now it's going to be lined up here. With a little bit of bend in it. And this is when this other back leg is just lifting off the ground. Just gotta add a little bit more bend to it. There we go. We don't want the leg shrinking as it goes up and down, not get a little weird. Right in between. Oop. So I already forgotten he's going to be a little bit lower, so is the arm. Fix that a little bit. There we go. There we are. Your art is so great, especially the character design. I love the YouTube shorts a ton too. My favorite is the timeout one. Yeah, I like that one a lot too. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. Okay. Right, so this would be when the back arm is going down into this kind of middle position. So we're going to, the elbow would be about here, shoulder, or a little bit lower. Shoulder would be here, so the hand's gonna be right there. It's gonna be kind of foreshortened because it's going from swinging the elbow forward to swinging it back. So it's a little bit of an awkward pose, but we'll clean it up later, make it prettier. Okay, then for this one, this is the high point, so he's going to be a little bit taller. Although tall is a relative term for him. So everything's going to get bumped up just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Okay. And this one. Sure, I'm looking at this right. Right, okay. So the pink leg is going to be on the ground right there. Don't try to get close to my #1 spot me. That's pretty funny. And it looks like the rest of you guys are arguing about daylight saving time. That's fun. back leg. What is the back leg doing? Okay, and the next one, it's on the ground. Right, okay, so it's going from being in the ground to being to the first contact, so it's going to be floating in the air. So the knee's going to be in between these two, I think. Actually, no, this is a speed walk. So instead of going right smack dab in the middle, it's going to be higher, like he's kicking his leg up. Trying to walk as fast as he can with these wee little legs. That's too long though. Let's move that back a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. I think. It'll be fine. Well, Jasper, there's a running stereotype that Canada is really clean and Canadians are overly nice. Canadians can be just as mean as anyone else from any other country. It's a nice stereotype to have, but I don't know if it'd be the most accurate. Okay, so the pink arm is going forward. It's got this one here, and everything's a little up. So that includes the arm, and the halfway point for these two elbows is about right here. I think this is going to be another one of those foreshortened ones where it's going to look a little silly because we're cramping it all in. We'll just have to pretty it up later. There we go. I've been to Canada once though, and I saw graffiti that said love and peace and whatnot, so the stereotype is definitely reinforced. Yeah, that's completely fair. Looking forward to seeing Russell's big floofy tail swishing from his quick walk. Me too. I'm excited to draw that part in. Okay, the arm is going... the blue arm is going back. So it's gonna be... about right there, I believe. And we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, this is gonna be another low point in the walk. So I'm actually just gonna go to the other low point and copy the head and the body, just so that I'm consistent with how far down he's going in the low point. There we go. And for this one, the blue leg is the one that's forward and touching the ground. Back, that's a little lifting off the ground here. It's gonna be right here. Yeah. And we want that back of the heel to try and line up with this line here so that the timing is consistent. Marshall. My screen time shuts off in 4 minutes, so when I stop, just know that I wish you a good evening / night. Until then, I'll keep commenting. Well, thank you. It was nice having you here with us. Real tragedy happened. I lost my Apple pencils I've been drawing with for the past year. And yeah, I lost one of my Apple pencils just straight up. I think maybe one of my dogs took it and ended up destroying it in like their back kennel or something. That was the only theory I had, because we absolutely tore the place apart looking for it and it was just gone. Okay, we're gonna do the pink arm first, and that one. Okay, so it's these two right here. We got it in between. It's gonna be about there. And this is another super fun foreshortened one, I believe. Elbow will be there, and hand will be probably below there. Birds are just animals in this universe. They get attacked by geese. I mean, that could just be a whole thing. It's just, hey, this chapter, we're stuck because a geese won't let us leave this building. Doesn't matter if they're guards, the geese is stronger. Okay, next one. Oh, I must have messed this up. Bump that back. Okay, so the blue leg is on the ground. Oh wait, I gotta draw on the whole torso first. I'm getting ahead of myself. Excuse me. There we go. So then get rid of this little blue line. He actually has the bird marked on his map, right? Because he's scared of being carried away. Yep, there's a bird that lives near Graycove. Russell is scared of it. He marked it on his map just to remember where its nest is. Because he's scared of running into it. Thank you for joining us, Mike. It was nice having you with us. Russell's kidnapped by a goose. We'll have an entire villain arc, but it's just a single goose that's harassing the town they can't deal with. Perfect. Okay. Backlit is here. Peach is just as Batman to rescue Russell from a goose. Yeah, the entire comic, no words are said. It's just the birds duking it out. Okay. This one will be the same as the other one, where the knee shoots up. So he's trying to walk fast. Yeah, seems about right. Erase that bit. You know, all seriousness, I think the two leading theories about Graycove are genetic engineering experiment / humans reverting to hunter-gatherers after the apocalypse. Well, those are fun theories. I can't say nothing about them because I'm not gonna be spoiling anything. But I do enjoy hearing all of your theories. Okay, pink arm is going back. Oops, but it's bumped up a little bit, so it's gonna be up here. Elbow should be about here, but then bumped up, so about here. And hand be in between these two, but bumped up, so about here. Perfect. That means the back arm is coming forward. So it'll probably be let me fix that. No, it's alright. I'll post it up. Yeah. Luke is also under the assumption that we're 100% aware of how long CD players can work for, which we are not. Yeah, I like seeing the theories of like how many years you think has passed since blank happened, but in all seriousness, I don't know how long items last. Like I don't know how long a Walkman would keep working. I don't really know the life of a battery, and if I have to make up a fictional battery that lasts 1,000 years without like going bad, whatever, then I might have to do that. Not that it's 1,000 years, obviously, but in a hypothetical, because just for the plot, I'm gonna need some human things to still exist, and if they wouldn't exist after a certain period of time, then I'm just gonna make up something that would. Okay, I think we've got this whole walk down now, which is wonderful. So now we're going to take out all of those in-betweens that we would have drawn to make it faster. And for this one, we're going to change the play back so it's really short. And now, with it on a loop, it should be a absolutely perfect walk, and I made 0 mistakes, but let's see. That is a quick little walk right there. That is so funny. I don't know why that brings me so much enjoyment, but it does. Little power strut. Okay. So, now that the skeleton is looking good, we're going to take a transparency node, which is handily, I was searching for it earlier, so it's just right there. And put that there so that it's not too dark and get in my way. And we're gonna make a new node. Oops. Jeez, if I can actually type. There we go. And we're gonna start the rough sketch for Russell. And I'm just gonna bump all these up so they're easier to see. Russell does rocket riding in real life. I don't know where he'd find a rocket. On the outside is Halloween, but it's Christmas in my heart. Absolutely not. We do not skip over Halloween in this household. Halloween is my favorite holiday. Oops, then we gotta change places so the Russell Ruff is over top of the skeleton. There we go. Hello, Alexander. Thank you for joining us. And you're not late. We only just got started. Okay, so the hard part of this, in all honesty, is gonna be Russell's face, because he's basically just a giant triangle. Probably about that. Yeah, that looks about right. This is just the rough, we're just getting shapes down. It's not, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Anything that's wrong with it I'm gonna have to fix later anyways. So, let's start putting everything in. And we're just trying to block out just basically like his limbs, make sure everything's the same width. I never used to celebrate Halloween. How do you celebrate it? Usually just dressing up and going to a party, you know? We don't really live in an area that has like trick-or-treaters or anything. I think this year we're going to 2 different Halloween parties. We got invited to 2 of them, and thankfully only one of them is actually on Halloween, so we're able to do both. Last year we dressed up as 2 people with COVID for Halloween because we had COVID and didn't go anywhere. Yeah, that was unfortunate. But the year before that I got to dress up as a Hannibal Lecter, and that was pretty fun. Hi Ben, thank you for joining. Okay, we're gonna make his legs a little bit thicker, because right now he is looking a little too skinny. A little too Hazel-like for my liking. He looks like he's absolutely doing the splits here to keep up. I'm dressing up as a student that's stressed for midterms. That's unfortunate. No joke, I came to my job wearing regular clothes on Halloween, said I dressed up as a disappointment and won Funniest Costume Award. Nice. Just like I was complaining about earlier, his neck confuses me, so it's just gonna be this weird little shape for now. Okay, I'm gonna do... Oof. Yeah, this looks real rough with the onion skin on. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn the onion skin off and try to just eyeball it, because it's kind of hard to look like, to look straight at otherwise. I really want to stay and watch Marshall draw my favorite Short King Russ. I think I should go to bed. Well, thank you for joining us while you could. Okay. I'm gonna draw his little eye in. Because he's twisted like this, he should be facing the camera more. So I'm trying to use this as reference. Russell's entire head and neck situation is probably one of the more harder things for me to draw. Like, drawing Hazel, super easy. She's just a bunch of circles with twigs for arms and legs, you know? I immediately changed my mind about this. I am gonna have Bunyan skin on. It's gonna be a little shorter on this one because this is the low point. Okay, this is when his face would be starting to turn away. You'll see a little bit less of his nose. And his eyes are going to be lower because it's the lower pose. We're going to put them over sideways just a little bit. I think that should look good. Fox is one of the top animals of all time. Yeah, they're one of my favorites too. My cousins, when I was growing up, the house that they lived at, they had wild foxes that always were hanging out in their yard and stuff. They had a den nearby or something, but we got to see like baby foxes and stuff all the time. They were so cute. I messed that up. Let's try that again. The heel has to be at this black line, which is sometimes annoying to follow. But if you don't, then the walk will look really messed up and it'll mess with the timing and everything. Yeah, I saw a thing showing that they're starting to domesticate foxes more. I mean, if I could get one as a pet legally, I absolutely would. They're so cute. I'm sure there are difficulties that would go into owning a fox. But that's what it's like with every single animal. Every animal has its pros and its cons. We had all sorts of woodland creatures visit us when I lived in Michigan. Deer, foxes, geese, all sorts of night creatures. Yeah, at my parents' house, the one I grew up in, we regularly had moose in the backyard, which I don't know if you've seen a moose before, but they are bigger than trucks. And once you're around them a lot, you get kind of desensitized to it. So I used to like walk home from school and have to just like pause on the road and wait because there'd be a moose on the driveway just munching away on some willows or something. They're the size of horses. They're bigger than horses, they're massive, but they're also usually pretty calm. It depends on the time of the year if they have babies or not, but like I've never been charged by a moose, and I've been around a lot of them. Not that you should go near moose. But yeah, they're kind of just like the big stoners of the forest, you know? Okay, this is the side profile, so I built that. And even less of his nose showing. Russell is such a little guy. He's kind of hard to draw. There's not a whole lot to work with. Russell's walking like he's gonna steal stuff and put in his large tail. That's how he walks 24/7. Okay, not bad. Oh, except I already messed up and I forgot. This is the front leg. And this is the back leg, so we shouldn't see any of this. Okay, yeah. So his stomach will be kind of turned away here, so we're seeing his back. And then we'll add in his tail later on, obviously. And say to the security guard, thank you for doing your job. I don't know what I missed from Jasper. Is he admitting to crimes in the chat? Okay. Next one. Exactly, Marshall. Yeah, I know who he is. Makes sense. Just starting to see his back in this one. So, his head will be kind of... Ah, right, and this is the taller pose. Drop his head up here more. He's gonna be kind of facing away from the camera a little bit. So his face is gonna be a little bit shorter. About there, and we see a little bit less of his nose. Just kind of peeking out the back of his head here. Got a little elbow peeking out. Drawing Russell like this makes me feel like I'm drawing a toddler walking. This is not a grown man, this is a baby. Now, if I were smart, I would have done the key poses first, and then done the in-betweens, to make sure that I'm being more consistent with the width of the limbs here. But I did not do that, and it's much too late to go back, so it's fine. Yeah, this is an adult male goblin. Head's gonna be even more turned away now. It's gonna be a little bit shorter, and it's lower down because it's at this just regular height for this one. Yeah, that's about right. Erase all this mess. Although now that I think about it, if he's doing like a speed walk, I don't know how much his head would be moving back and forth. That's usually more of a like regular walk thing to see. So I think I might go back after the fact and change his head so it's kind of staying still, it's not moving back and forth so much. But for right now, a little bit too late, but that's okay. I'll just fix it later. That's not the end of the world. And I mean, this entire walk that I'm doing for him is just one big learning experience, so it's okay. Thicken this leg up a little bit more. It's not like you can really sell a house when it's underwater. I mean, you can try. Maybe not legally, but doesn't mean you can't sell it. Or at least try to. Yeah, Russell is in fact older than Hazel and Griff. Not by like an extreme amount, but he is the oldest of those three. Sell it to fish. Okay, not bad so far, I don't think. Not too shabby. I probably should have been drawing his belly patch the whole time just to help orient where, you know, how his torso is kind of twisting back and forth, but that's okay. I can edit in later. This one. This is when his head should be kind of going back to facing forward. So we'll want it to be longer than this one, but not by an extreme amount. And it's lower because this is the low pose. His eye should start coming back. God throws his heaviest car batteries into his strongest oceans. Would Russell consider a saddle for the emu a booster seat if he scavenged it? I mean, that's pretty funny. It would be funny to show him finding a booster seat and being like, oh my god, this is the perfect seat. It is just my size. How did they know? Okay, this one's weird and foreshortened, so it's just gonna look like a stubby little arm. Russell deserves an eloquent, let's be honest. Yeah, he discovered stools. He just has to climb up them. And then he gets to feel tall for a few minutes. He had a high chair in that one short with Griff's family. Yeah, they made him sit in the baby chair. In their defense, he is baby-sized. He has slight advantage of using vents as pathways. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a wonderful little explorer because he's just a little guy. He can fit in so many places that Hazel and Griff wouldn't be able to. Especially Hazel. Russell finds one of those baby carrier vests and Hazel wears him around in one of those. I actually had the funniest idea. Maybe not like a short, but it was them like having to run away from something. And by they I mean Hazel, Griff, and Russell. And Hazel being like, okay, you are taking entirely too long. And then just putting him in a little baby carrier like a backpack. And just him flopping around and yelling like, this is demeaning. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I guess we don't really have any Fox characters besides Russell. Not too bad. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is the perfect side pose, so we're going to be seeing him. Nose needs to be a little bit longer. Okay, something like that. And the blue one, that's the back leg. So the front one, that's facing the camera, is the one that's bent here. Are there any bat characters? I want to see a fruit bat. They're some of my favorite animals aside from foxes and hyenas. I did have an idea for a fox bat character that was just like a little mailman just flying around delivering letters. I haven't actually showed him yet. I don't know if or when he would enter the comic. I have a sketch of him somewhere, or like maybe a couple sketches of him like holding open a wing and having these like different tiny letters taped to the wing. Oh, right, and I designed a little mail logo, but it has a bat as the like triangle that makes the top part of the envelope. I completely forgot about that. That was a while ago I drew that. I think we also had, or I drew like an antelope courier for going like in between towns. So like the little bat mail guys were for within like Graycove or whichever settlement they were living in. And then there were, you know, a little bit faster animals for delivering in between cities or towns or whatever you want to call them. I should draw his head first. Okay, this is when he's coming back to this front-on pose. Or not front-on, but facing towards the camera a little bit more. Yeah, he's a little bit taller in this one, so his snout's gonna be a little bit longer. Bat is born into a family of bat mail carriers, but all he wants to do is be an artist. That would be hard with their really bad eyesight. If mammals in this universe are anthropomorphic creatures, how dolphins would look like. I'm scared of imagining that. Yeah, we had some really weird ideas for whales later on. They wouldn't have like legs or anything. It was going to be a little bit different. We were going for more of like a monster vibe. But again, that's just something that we had thought up, but is probably not going to be in the comic. And if it is in the comic later, then pretend I didn't tell you about it. But probably not. We have a lot of things planned, and if we ever got to that point, it would be so far in the future. Kind of foreshortened. Okay, and we're back at the original one. Let's see how bad we mess this up. Turn off the skeleton. He's zooming. Oh my god. Okay. It does look a little awkward to me. I think... Honestly, I think it's just that he's leaning back a little bit. So goofy. Yeah, it feels like he's leaning, or almost like he's leaning back a little too much, so I think I'm going to take this entire thing, the way his nose wobbles back and forth. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty goofy. Okay. So I think I'm gonna add a movement peg to this. I'm just gonna quickly change the settings. That looks a little nicer. And I think all we're gonna do is straight up just tilt him forward a little bit. Now let's see how that looks. Yeah, that already looks better to me. Let's just pause so I can compare it real quick. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Well, I'm starting to get hungry. I'm gonna go for lunch. Hope I get back in time. We're gonna be here for probably another 2 hours. I'm gonna try for 2 more hours. We're gonna see how tired and or hungry and or how tired my voice gets in that time. But hopefully we'll still be here. He looks so weird bald. Yeah, I don't like it. He's definitely missing a few parts and I'm not enjoying that. So... Honestly, he's moving so hard. If there are mistakes in the arms... Well, this back one kind of pops a little too much, maybe. You know what? I think it's just this first pose. I think this arm is sticking out more than it should. So I'm gonna edit these 2 frames here. And just shrink them back a little. Crazy how someone who gets anxious around people in real life does so well talking to strangers on the internet. I will have you know, I had so much practice in retail learning how to talk to people like a normal human being. And just because I'm talking a lot does not mean I'm not anxious right now. Okay, I think that helps. I'll do... Oh, and because I just straight up copy pasted these 2, it affected the last one as well, so I don't have to change a thing. Yeah, I know you know I did retail, but they don't know I did retail. Just the lack of eye contact. No, the hard part is finding that middle range between too much eye contact and not enough eye contact. Okay. So I think next I'm gonna put in his little cheek puffs because he looks kind of naked right now without them and I don't care for it. But I don't want to affect this first drawing. So I'm going to make another drawing node and it's just going to be called Russell's Cheek. Oop, I can spell, I swear. Puffs. It's going to go over top of this drawing so that if I mess them up super horribly, I can just delete the entire thing. We pretend it was never there and we start over. Yeah, you guys are really all over. This kind of surprised me. I was expecting like 90% from the US or Canada or just North America, I guess. But that's really cool. Okay. So, let me just think. Okay. So his cheek puffs will go up and down depending on his movement. So when he's going down into this lower pose, they'll be going up against the like gravity, wind drag, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna start with this one, and we'll have just a little bit of a flick up, you know? They already kind of flick up normally. So we don't want to do it too much because we don't want to be too crazy. I'm from the Texas of Canada. Alberta? Which one's the Texas of Canada? Yeah, it's gotta be Alberta, right? A little flip up when he drops lower. And then this one, he's shooting back up. We don't want it to be, you know, we don't want to overdo the bounciness of it, especially when he's moving so fast, because then it's going to look absolutely crazy. So I think for this one, it's just going to kind of even out. And then when he's going into the taller pose, then it'll go kind of down. This one should be a little bit shorter because this is when he's starting to turn his head away from the camera. Same with this one. It's not so much that it'd be shorter as it would be, you know, moving over. So actually I'm gonna undo those changes really quick. What was this one? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna actually just move them over a little itty bitty bit. Bouncy cheek puff. We can see Toronto from our house. That's funny. Okay. Let's move in. And then for this one, because he's shooting up a little bit, we want this one to be kind of going down. Too much. And that might have been overdoing it a little bit, but we'll see. And then we're gonna scooch it over just a little bit more. Because we need his cheek puff to be following his cheek, you know? And if his head is turning away, then the cheek puff has to as well. Hello, Joshua. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So that one's going up. And in this position, he is starting to go back down, but we don't want it to flip too much. So it's just going to be kind of in this little middle area. It's following after him, so this is when it gets really awkward looking, and this is the exact pose I have a hard time drawing when it's Russell because of his cheek puffs and his neck situation and his weird shaped head. So I think I'm gonna just shrink it down. Yeah, that feels about right. And then you'll start seeing the cheek puffs on his other cheek kind of peeking out. Yeah, Russell's head is kind of cone-shaped. It's a little awkward and weird. But that's okay. Okay, I don't think that's looking too bad. And this was when he's dropping down into this lower pose again, and he's starting to turn his head back. So the cheek puffs are gonna go up a little. Like so, I believe. This one will just be kind of just regular. Gotta touch a bunch of rocks in class today. Didn't have to lick any dirt this time, but usually you do. That's true. The day they had their first, like, soil and dirt class, Jasper came home, brought me outside just so I could watch him lick some dirt and go, "It's silt!" Okay, cheek puffs go down a little bit. This one. Okay, now we're back at the original, so we can just copy paste this one in at the end. Let's see how it looks. Sorry, his entire little walk is just hilarious, and I definitely did not bring that other cheek puff out enough. That looks very silly. I mean, this entire walk looks really silly, and his cheeks are kind of bouncing around all over the place, but kind of hard to avoid when you're doing something like this where he has to be going as fast as he is. Boing, boing, boing. Yeah, he's trying his best. Okay, where is that? That one right there. It is too short. Bump it out. And I think I'll add in. So you can see it sticking out here as well. Okay. And then for this one as well, you'll see just a little bit of the other cheek puff right there. Do you think adding an extra break in the fur during his bounce would help it feel like fluff? I like how it is now, just commenting to comment. Maybe. What do you mean by break, though? See how it looks. A little bit better. It's still a little awkward. I think I added a little too much swoop to it, as the technical term would be. Like how the fluff splits in 2 right now, it would split in 3 during a frame or 2. I'm a little worried that if I do that, that it might make it jitter a little too much. Like, if it's only for like 1 or 2 frames, then having something kind of come in and out of it might make it a little bit awkward. Generally when you're animating, you try to keep everything how it is. Like, you try not to add in any extra lines or stuff like that, because now it's just an extra thing you have to keep track of, and if it disappears and reappears at random, then it gets a little awkward looking, especially with him moving like so fast when it's already a little bit of an awkward walk, just because of that. I do think I'm gonna chill out how much it's bouncing just a little bit though, because I think I went maybe a smidge overboard with it. It doesn't help. This one especially is kind of just a huge mess. that's also partially just the back of his head. Well, I think I'm just gonna move on for now. I think maybe we'll do his ears next. What do you think, ears or tail? Yeah, I think tail. Let's do tail next. Okay, and I think with his tail, I don't want it to be bouncing too much, because yeah, that'll just look completely chaotic in all of this. I think what we're gonna do, okay, showing us a little butt here. I think no, I do not like that. Let's try that again. I think if he was walking super fast, he would try to like lift it up so it's not dragging on the ground. So maybe more of a this. This looks kind of awkward. Okay. How did I draw? I think in a different one I drew it so it was like up in the air like this. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, we're gonna try and do this properly this time. So we're gonna find, yes, this pose. And we want the tail to be in the same shape, but it's facing the other way. It's more... I want everything to line up, but it's gonna be a little bit shorter. It's on the other side of him. Okay, and then we delete all these ones that magically appeared because we don't want those there. Okay, we're gonna add... Okay, no. We're just gonna do the basic shape for now. Not get caught up in the details. And it looks like you guys are talking about Pokemon, which I know next to nothing about, so I'm gonna let Jasper do all the talking. Okay, this is the other contact pose. Or sorry, not contact, passing. So it's going to be the exact same as this one here. This one's going to be the same as this one. do some quick in-betweens. He looks like a skunk right now with the longer nose. Yeah, I can see it. I don't think we have any skunk characters either now that I think about it. Okay. Oof, that is a boring tail. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to completely restart it. I'm not going to throw out the old tail, but I am going to just... if it will listen to me. I'm just going to remove it from the composite, which is what lets you see everything that is in the node view. We're going to go Russell's, tail, redo. Yeah, the tail definitely looks too stiff. In my mind I was like, he's keeping it upright so it's not getting dragged along the ground, but that was super boring and I didn't like it, so we're doing something else. So let's try that again. Okay. So instead, we're gonna do like a little tail swish. And I definitely remember how to do what is literally the first lesson in animation, which is a blade of grass. You can get like a swish down. I totally remember it. Everything's gonna be fine. But we're gonna start with the passing pose, because this is when it'll be right in the middle. Just watch your demo reel, it has the grass swish in it. Listen, I remember how to do a specifically just grass swish. It's the fact that it's not a grass, it's a tail, and it's at the side. Okay. Give it a little S-curve. Not fluffy enough. Let's add a little more to it. He's gotta have the kind of tail that can fit all of his crimes. Making an animation is a real science. Yeah, you're not wrong. And the thing is, animation is so fun because they're like, hey, we found out this huge mathematical equation to figure out how to draw objects dropping against gravity in a realistic way. And then immediately after that, they were like, but we're not mathematicians and we're not doing that. So instead, here's a trick to make it look like you did the math. And that's what I love about artists. We avoid doing math at all costs. Okay. So this is when his body is twisting away. So let's do this one. And it'll be swishing away from us. So it's going to... Sorry, I'm just have a second to visualize this. You know what? This is dumb. Why am I choosing the harder pose? It's coming towards us now. So this is tail, and it's coming this way. The tip will be like this. Which means this one is when it's going back towards this middle one. So it's gonna kind of be coming out, flicking and coming back. Like that. Appreciate you not using AI in Graycove. Yeah, I have no kind feelings towards AI when it comes to being used in art. I have very strong feelings about it. None of them are positive. And we'll leave it at that, because I don't think you guys want to hear me go on a really long rant about how it's stealing creative jobs when it shouldn't be. It should be used to make your life easier in other aspects, like taxes and stuff you don't want to do. But anyways, okay. So it's going from middle pose, and he's starting to turn away. So it's going to be coming this way. This way, and be probably like this. Lando, I can see you really want me to rant. I am not currently in the best energy level to be ranting. Plus, I'm gonna be real honest, it's talking while trying to do the mental math of animation is hard. That tail is so wonderful. Thank you. Although I'm having second thoughts. Mostly about this pose. I don't think this one is correct, but I'm gonna try to move past it. I'm gonna try to not pay any attention to it, and we will come back to it if we need to come back to it. Okay. This is one coming like this. If there's ever a truly sentient AI that chose to make its own art without human input, I think that'd be okay. Yeah, I mean, just like Jasper just said, at that point you're getting into human rights, and my entire issue with AI art is the fact that you are stealing from real artists and you're taking, you know, things that they put their entire livelihood into, and you're putting it into a program that just craps out a terrible replica of it. And it's just one of the biggest forms of disrespect, in my opinion, to the artist, because they spent their life trying to get better and learn this skill and work on it, and now you're taking it and putting it through a program that does 5 seconds of work, and you know, you're just taking the humanity out of it. Yeah, it's a no good. I don't know what to tell you. And like, I've seen a lot of people use the excuse of like having ADHD or stuff like that make it hard for them to learn a skill. But there are artists out there who are paralyzed or like can only paint with their feet or their mouth. I had an art teacher, she had gotten into a terrible motorcycle accident when she was in her 20s, and it was right before she was supposed to start college. She shattered a bunch of bones in her hands and her arms. Like, it was truly a horrible accident. And the doctors told her that she wouldn't be able to do art anymore. And they basically just told her, you know, pick a new major because you're not going to be able to do this. So she got one of her friends to come to the hospital and set up like her palette for her and her easel and everything. And she made an entire painting just using her mouth, and then gifted that to the doctor who told her that she couldn't paint anymore because she was so angry about it. So anyone is able to create art so long as they have the want to create art, and that is the hardest part, is just the want to take time out of your day and to practice something, you know? Yeah, an elephant can paint, a crow can paint. Like, it's just practice and it's time, and those are the two biggest things. Extremely based art teacher. Yeah, she's one of the coolest ladies I've ever met. She was awesome. I miss having classes with her just because she was so cool. But anyways, okay, so getting back to this. It's full tilt and he's coming back, so the tail needs to swish in the opposite direction. It's coming back now. Kind of like this. Side view, which means we need this one right here. Okay, well, I definitely have concerns about this, being that it's like this. Okay. We're getting closer. We just need to chill it out, like, a lot. Okay. So, what we're gonna do is try and fix this entire mess here. Okay. We're gonna try to bring each of these poses a little bit closer to this middle baseline pose. So we're gonna take away some of the flick because right now it's going back and forth crazy like. I didn't even finish drawing all of it in. I don't need to see that it's not looking good. So yeah, okay. We're gonna chill it out. That's what we're gonna do. So this one is gonna go from this. Now it's gonna be more like this. Yeah, that's the way to go. This feels correct. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Norsaurus. We're just, yeah. The one pose, it looks good. If he were walking normally, the full swish would be okay, probably. Because we would have more frames to kind of smooth it out. But, as it is, we don't have that. So, we just gotta make some adjustments. And this one, we need to bring it closer to this green lined pose here. So we're gonna erase it entirely, get it out of here. And I think we're just gonna go like this. Oop, and the music just stopped. I think I forgot to play. Yeah, I forgot to press the repeat button. My bad. I'll try to remember to add even more songs to the playlist for next time. I did add a couple, but clearly not enough. Okay, I think do something like that. Okay, this is the baseline, so now we need to bring this one closer to the red one. It's gonna be more like this. So it's pulling back from this red line pose. Okay, and then this one is the same. Just erase it entirely, and then we're gonna make it closer to this red line pose here. I think we've seen Russell doing some drawing in a couple of the Graycove shorts. I'd like to think he'd make a mean stick figure family portrait. He did actually. In the webcomic, in the Day in the Life of Herb, in Herb's bedroom, there's a little drawing by like his headboard. And it's like a little stick figure drawing of the family, and it's cute. And I had fun drawing it. I can't remember if I put his name on it anywhere, but in my mind he was the one who drew it. Oh yeah, and Russell's drawing in the Be Right Back frame. Cause yeah, he can't exactly. Sorry, I just saw a mistake. Yeah, he can't really write, but I think he would get a lot of enjoyment out of drawing. Okay, so I think I'm actually gonna take this one away, because this one is the next side view. So instead of lining up with this past red one, we're gonna try and get a good in-between for these two. Kind of just like that. And I should grab this first one. And bring it back here. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if it worked. Oof. No. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Comes back. Okay. And Tashi knows the song in the playlist. Unless that's a song from the Chill Hop website that we use for the music, then I cannot, because we will get in licensing trouble, or copyright, or whatever you want to call it. We'll get in trouble, so we cannot. Okay, how do I fix this? Let me just watch it again. Well, it's not great. I don't care for that. And I'm starting to get very frustrated with it. You could try a top view to get the movement right. I know what the movement is supposed to look like. It's more of an issue with the timing needed to convey it. I think this is one of the problems. And this is certainly one of the problems. Okay. Let's get rid of this guy. Have a good night, Luke. Thank you for joining us. I think you will enjoy the page coming out tomorrow. It'll be a fun one. Maybe if I just do a bit. Perhaps you could stabilize the tail base a bit more and have only the tip swaying a bit. Yeah, I think maybe that would be good. Okay. I don't want to lose all this, just in case it is getting closer to what I need. So we're gonna go for third time's a charm. If I can't get it right, then we're gonna move on and I'll figure it out when I don't have an audience and can properly curse out my computer and myself. Okay, I did like the one pose that we had going for this one, so I'm gonna steal it to reuse. And get rid of it. These two will live in their shame by themselves over here. Let's just stay out of my way. And when they're running, the tail holds a bit more steady to help stabilize their movement. Oh. You okay? Okay. I don't know if you guys could hear that through the microphone. It's just something dropping behind me. Everything's fine. Okay. We'll do the other extreme poses. Are him okay? Yeah, he's okay. Okay, so we're gonna keep it pretty close to this pose. Just moved for perspective. So it's gonna be like this. Where's the other pose? There it is. This tail will be the end of you? Yeah, you know it. Someone's gonna come and take my graduation of animation certificate away. Or diploma or whatever it is. I can't even remember now. Okay. This is the other extreme pose. Just going to... Still gonna be pretty close to this green line pose. Because that's the base one we're going off of. We're just gonna figure out the base for now, just to get the movement. And then I think I'm gonna add on the little tip tail swish after the fact, so that I have the base is down, the foundation is there, and I can work off of it. Okay, now we take this one, copy that into this, and then we delete these two frames that magically appear whenever I do that. And now we do the in-betweens. You got the paper that says I can do a thing. They're gonna take it from me and it will be deserved. But they're gonna have to fight me for it. Throw a flip book with Russell in it as a distraction. Yeah. And then I'll hide my certificate in the vents as Russell most certainly would. I'll take a page out of his book that I wrote for him. My chair creaks a lot too. Yeah, my chair is really creaky. Some of the screws that hold it in place, or something anyways, fell out of the bottom. So I get to live with the constant fear of it just getting out from under me. But it makes work more exciting, so I'm not gonna fix it. Oh, thank you for joining us, Norse Horse. Okay. Third time's the charm. Let's see. Ugh. You know what? It's somewhat better than the other two. Okay. One thing that will also help is if I add a circle for where the color shifts. help with the perspective of it. Sideways. I honestly think that helped a little bit. I'm still not super pleased with it. I think it's the tail tip. If I add a little bit of swish to it. Could you add some smoothing between frames? The issue with that is we have to keep him on this exact timing if we want him to be able to keep up with Hazel and Griff with their walk cycles. Because he's going half the distance, but he's going twice the speed. And my vision for this animation that is going to take me a year to finish is that they're all walking in a line similar to this, but he'd be bumped down to here, so they'd be, you know, walking in a line, and to be going the same pace. So I could do in-betweens for Russell, but then he would be on ones instead of twos like they are, which means I would have to put ones in for Griff and for Hazel as well, and that would take up a lot of time and would be hard to do. So I'm hoping to avoid that, because yeah, if we put only Russell on ones, it would definitely show. You'd be able to tell just from looking at them that he has less frames per second, or more frames per second, sorry. Because right now they're on 12 frames per second. We would have to put them on 24 to add any more in-betweens here. And yeah, you can definitely tell just at a glance the difference between the two, and I wouldn't want it to look awkward doing that. Couldn't you have like layered animation? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Like Into the Spider-Verse? Oh, that would be getting very technical. I don't know exactly how to do that. I like the way Russell's animated faster than the other two. Yeah, he has to keep up. He's so little. Cause yeah, I think... yeah, Hazel and Griff's walk cycles are twice as long. Yeah, I think if we made his different too much, that'll be a big style clash, and it, unlike Into the Spider-Verse, I don't think I could get away with that. I think it would just end up looking really awkward, unfortunately. But yes, I think adding a little bit of a tail swish at just the very tip would help. How do I want to do this? I don't want to lose this, because this is the closest I've gotten so far. Oh, thank you for joining us, Grant. Have a good evening. So we're gonna make another little drawing folder. It's gonna be Russell, tail, tip. Close. Okay, and this one is starting to go back in this direction, so the tail tip is just gonna swish, kind of hook like this. Miles Morales in the first movie is on ones versus everyone else. Wait, it's the other way. Oh, that kind of makes sense thinking back on it. But yeah, unlike Into the Spider-Verse, I don't think I can get away with those kind of feats. This one will have a little bit of bend to it, a little bit of swish. This one will stay the same. Russell could get away with it. Yeah, if it were anyone, it would be him. Okay. I think we'll drag this down a little bit. Just a little bit of bend here, I think. Okay, this is when it's coming back to center. So this one be more like that, I think. Now I will go back in on this one. Oop. And start erasing the tail tips just to see if it's working. And I forgot to draw this one. That's okay. Should just this one anyways. That would be cool to see Russell's jumping and diving into the snow like real foxes do. That would be really cute. I did a similar animation for school. It's in one of the YouTube videos. I don't even remember. I think it was from the like first trimester or semester, sorry, semester of school. Where it was supposed to be like a quad walk with a jump at the end, where I turned into like a little fox jump where it's pouncing into something and like coming out with a rat in its mouth. It was this big like fox creature. It looked more like a Maine wolf actually now that I think about it. Oop, wrong one. Thank you for joining us, Josh. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, as I suspected. you know what though? When you look at it from a distance, when he's real tiny like this, it's not that bad. It's not the best. I'm definitely not super happy with it, but it's not the worst thing. So I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna call it good. We're gonna do his ears now. You wanna see the ears part before you go to sleep? Okay, we'll try to do them fast. Oh, I gotta wrestle ears. The most important part in art is labeling everything. Especially when you get into making rigs and stuff, if you don't label everything you're working on, it becomes a big ol' mess. Okay. This should go smoother than the tail, and if it doesn't, I will riot. Against myself, I guess. Actually, no, we're just gonna leave it at triangles. We're not gonna get bogged down in details. We're keeping it simple. I think it'll look better once it's all colored and stuff. Me too. I think once I smooth everything out, I add some proper line art, I color everything, then it should be okay. And if it isn't, then I tried my best. And that's all we can do. I got yelled at by my animation teacher for not doing that when I did animation as an option for one semester. If you're only doing animation as an optional thing for one semester, you shouldn't get yelled at for anything. You know? I mean, teachers probably just shouldn't yell at you in general, but you know what I mean. I wanted to cut off my hands when we did it without rigs. How do you do it? That's a good question. I get the exact same feeling. At one point, I did a water splash animation, which is also on my YouTube. Go look at it. And it was entirely done by hand, and it was fully colored in with pencil crayons. And by the end of it, my wrist was absolutely killing me. I was so sick of that project by the end. But the teacher was so impressed it got put into his folder of examples to show future students. So that was a big win. Well, that's the one very nice part about having Jasper here doing stuff for me. He can send all these clips while I'm working. Okay, now we'll do the in-betweens. is lower in this one, so the ear has to be as well. Even says in your description, very pretty, but will kill your wrist. Yeah, I love the idea of doing more hand-drawn animation traditionally with like pencil crayons and having all of the pretty art, but it's not the most feasible thing to do. It just takes too much time. You had to do flip book type animation. My hands cramped thinking about that. Yeah, it wasn't like too bad if I'm being honest. Most of the time, all of the animations that we worked on for that were really short. Like, yeah, walk cycles take a long time to do, but in the end, they're only around 32 frames. And that's only 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's not that many drawings if I'm being honest. It's 16 drawings, which sound like a lot, but like you're not doing like a full render, you're not coloring them. They're just sketches. It's lining everything up and making sure it all works is the hard part. The eyeball splash was an exception obviously, but that was because I decided to fully color it in and give myself all that extra work. I have no idea what link he just sent. Okay. Oh wait, no, this one's lower. Oh, the speed paint. I forgot that I did a speed paint. Of a Knox and Frankie. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see. Okay, not the worst. It snaps maybe a little too much. I think I brought that one ear out just a little too far. But that's a pretty easy fix, all things considered. We just... whoop. And there should be another one. This one isn't too bad. I think I'll just angle it a little bit more. see that. Okay, I could handle going back maybe a little bit more. But all in all, that's not that bad. You know? So let's erase this. Actually, I'll shrink it back just a little bit more. I definitely gave him like a little too much of a twist to his movements. But all in all, I am not unhappy with this. Except for the tail. The tail fought me too much. I will remain unhappy with it. Heck yeah. Okay, well, I think we can call this Russell walk cycle rough anyways is finished. So I think what we're gonna do is go back to Hazel now, because I never actually finished her in-betweens, which is why she's blinking in and out like this. And since Russell doesn't really need any, he went a lot faster than I thought he would. So just give me 1 second here to tidy all this up. I'm just gonna put all of these onto a node. So that I can move him over, get him out of the way without losing any stuff. He's gonna stand in front of Griff here. Ah. And this should have also gone with him, my bad. And then we're gonna take all of this, and we're just gonna group this with a composite to get it out of the way. That's funny. Just turn those off so I can't see them. There we go. Yeah, Hazel's basically just walking around with permanent brass knuckles. There we go. Okay, back to Hazel. Stick her back on that. We're also going to move her up in the listing, so we're not getting confused by Russell's stuff there. Okay. And yes, since last time, her head was kind of bothering me because it was too stagnant. It wasn't moving very much. So I removed it from her body and put it on to its own little drawing thing here, so that I could add a node, this one here, and just add a little bit more movement to it. So now it's got a little bit more. Gotta move that. There we go. So now it's got a little bit more up and down to it than it did before. we're just gonna jump right in and start on some in-betweens. Yeah, I killed Hazel. It was a glorious fight that I would lose in real life for sure. And actually, I think this is a really good time for me to just take a really quick break, just to rehydrate. Talking for an hour or two on end gets a little hard. So I'm gonna put you on the break screen and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Okay, looks like we're on this one now. Which I had started earlier and only gave her 1.5 arms and then stopped because it was dinner time. This part is both easy and complicated. Easy in that I don't have to do any mental math to figure out how things should be moving, because I'm straight up just finding the middle point between these two drawings and filling in the gap. But hard because this whole thing is kind of a mess to look at and it can get a little confusing. And yes, Hazel does not have antlers. She never will have antlers. She's just not the type of deer who would get them. Because yeah, her dad is a red deer, her mom is a fallow deer. And neither of those species, none of the females have antlers. Russell on a shelf. I'm sure he's been on lots of shelves. Let's bump that up for a little bit. Actually, let's get this out of the way. We don't need to see this up close anymore. So I can get nice and close. There we go. That's a bit better. This is when her leg would be lifting up. Tilt it like this. Welcome back to the chaos disguised as friendly chat Marshall. Yeah, I was reading it while I was taking my little break. I was catching up on some of the things I missed. Okay, should be about there. I tried to adjust the onion skin and the settings so it'd be a little more transparent, so it'd be easier to see through. But it doesn't look like it really stuck, or I might not have made a big enough change. I'll have to play around with it a little bit later. I think this leg is a little too thin. Let's widen this a little. Ignore the fact that she currently doesn't have a head, it's on a different layer, so we can't see the onion skin right now. Genuine promotion idea for Christmas. Take the art of Russell taped to the wall from the side chapter. Give Russell an elf hat and replace the words used on the sign with elf. Yeah, that could be pretty funny. think they would actually celebrate Christmas, because I don't think they would know what that is as a holiday. They'd probably have some kind of winter celebration of some kind. But that still sounds like a really cute picture idea. Winter coat celebration. I forgot her back. My bad. The real tricky part for this one is going to be getting her spots in. I am dreading that part. That's probably going to be a off-stream animating thing, since I'm trying my absolute best not to curse on stream. And I don't think those... I can't give her spots and not curse. It's too hard. And her foot would be about here. Look at this cool sweater Hazel found for this one animation. Yeah, exactly. Sorry guys, you don't get to see her spots. I made her design too hard to animate, so she gets clothes now. Why are you scared of cursing? It's more I just know some of the people watching don't particularly like it, so I'm doing my best not to. Hello, Joe. Thank you for joining us. Do her head next. Yeah, streaming did start as a way to make a little bit of extra money, but I was also already planning on starting streaming, just because this is kind of a good way to work on side stuff that I don't have a ton of time for, like this animation, or working on the coloring for the comic pages, which are can be really boring. Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Drill. See you later. Excellent work on the fan wiki. New just had this recommended. Art looks good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, don't know where the second hand should be. Okay, so it's probably behind her. I think this leg needs to go back a little bit there. And then our hand would probably be about here, if we see it at all. Okay, we're gonna start with her head this time, because it's been a lot easier than her body. Toon Boom, have not heard of that program in a long time. Yeah, it's the main one that we were taught to use at the animation program that I went to. So it's the one I use. I know how to make like rigs and stuff using the program as well. I haven't done it in a really long time. I might do it on stream at some point, because I've been meaning to redo my Hazel and Russ rigs that I made for my short film. Always love this content. Actually, that kind of sounds like a bot. One of the people in the chat or my voice, because I think that's just how I talk. Oh, you meant your comment? Let's look over it. Let's try that again. Okay. Elbow, elbow. Yes, okay. No, I was correct. Just confused. Okay, let's get her feet in. Up there. Okay, and then I think this part of her leg does not look long enough on the green one, but I'm not gonna mess with that right now. But in the swing, her foot would be about here. We just finished up on Russell's walk, so this is what it's looking like now. So we're just cleaning up Hazel's now, because I never finished giving her her in-betweens. Supposed to be, and also her torso. Okay. I think it's like this. We have that arm. Her back should be about here. Okay, so her other arm should be coming up about right here on this back arm. So part of it's kind of blocked, which means I don't have to draw it, which is nice. Did I draw all of her? Yes, but which leg is in front? Okay, this one is. If we get that mixed up, then the entire thing falls apart. Wait, do you guys have a silver play button? I do! It is hanging near my desk. I can see it right now. It was such a big accomplishment that I was not expecting to get. How did that feel? It was pretty crazy. I mean, it's still crazy to think about. I can't believe the amount of people that follow me on YouTube and on Webtoon and want to see these little cartoon animals that I started drawing just for fun while I was in between jobs. And now it is my job. And that's the entire situation is nuts to me. But it's also really cool because it means that I get to do the thing that I was doing just for fun, but every day. Getting closer to getting one. How do they send it? Yeah, they just send it in the mail. It's the whole process was pretty easy. They send you like a whole thing. You just kind of fill out a form. You put down exactly what you want written for your name. Like if you want like the channel name or just your personal name, whatever. You put in your address and they ship it to you. It was a super easy process. This one will be about here. How many subscribers do you need for the silver play button? I think it's 100,000. And I just hit 185 a little while ago, and then I think to the next button you need like 1 million. So that's gonna be, you know, in many, many, many years, if ever. I didn't give her a foot for this one. What was I doing? There we go. is right before she steps down. So I think she's gonna swing her foot like so. No, not quite. Okay, it's kind of in the middle. Okay, knee should be about here. Connect here. And connect there. This is her back. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Clever Foxman. Hope to see you next time. Okay. And then I think her back. We'll just follow this green line because I don't think there was a red line to show us the other one. Let's do her head next. Oops. There we go. This one should be about here. Oh, yeah, that drawing. Yeah. I have some feelings about it, but we're not gonna get into it. Let's just keep drawing. I would ask what are my having been online instincts make me feel like I shouldn't. Yeah, maybe don't. He's no longer in the chat, but Luke also made some fan art, but it's very cute. It's very sweet looking. I think it's on his channel. I was really happy when I saw it. It was like the first fan art for Graycove I saw, and it's very cute. Foot should be about here. Let's change this angle a little bit. There we go. That's better. And this. Oh no, you looked it up. Yeah, it was a shock to see. Yeah, his comment definitely sums it up quite well. But if anyone wants to make some cute, wholesome fan art, I would love to see it. Always support that. Didn't know they stream dropping by to leave a like. Oh, thank you. Okay, I think this one is looking okay. Let's move on to the next one. It looks like we just have 3 more to go. Okay, turn these two back here. And about here for the knee. Okay, this one should connect to here. And should be about there. Oh, the stream is weekly. Yes, so far we've managed to keep on schedule with Thursdays at 6:30 PST. And I'm gonna do my absolute best to keep on schedule. But we'll see, because, you know, life stuff happens. Okay, the shoulder should be about there. And there. I forgot to draw her other foot. Oh, then I'll totally try to show up if I can weekly. That'd be nice. We've had a bunch of people so far who have shown up for every single one, and it's nice to see the same names. and to recognize people when they come back. Wait, is this leg in front? Which one is in front? The ground one is in front. Okay. Good to know. Erase this then. Hello, thank you for joining us. Okay, this one is here. This is the stage where it starts getting really hard to see what I'm doing. So there's probably going to be a couple of mistakes when I go back to look at this again, but that's okay. Okay, we're going to give her a head now. Always risky competing with Critical Role time slot though. Is Critical Role happening right now? Yeah, we picked a bad time. Whoops. Oh well. We're just looking for a chill time anyways. We're not looking for like a huge crowd. That would just make me anxious. Do you have any animals, like pets? Yes, we have a pet snake at the moment. We would really like to get a dog, but the place that we live, they have really, really strict rules about the kind of dog you can get, and it's like a whole process. Yeah, we have a snake. Cute little ball python named Aster. What about a kitty? Yes, we would also like to get a cat one day, and by we I mean just me, because Jasper does not want a cat. Okay, what is this back arm doing? Ah, okay, it's coming down now. I have a little tuxedo cat named Boone. That's cute. Yeah, that's the thing. Our house really isn't set up to have a pet that'll knock things over. We have a lot of shelving and a lot of precarious items on that shelving, so getting a cat would be kind of like setting off a bomb in our house. But maybe in the future. Have you guys ever thought of like a Discord server for Graycove? I have considered it, and considered it by people have been mentioning it. The problem is that I absolutely hate being in any group chat ever. I've never enjoyed myself in a group chat. I have a hard time responding to them in any way. So probably not. Strict who can comment in a Discord channel. I'm just not so good with Discord and like setting things up. I always get confused. And like I said, I'm just not the best in group chats. The second there's like more than 3 messages that I haven't replied to, I just stop entirely because I'm like, well, that's that. same arm. That looks about right. Back looks like it should be here. Oh yeah, the wiki, I can't seem to find it anywhere. Yeah, when I try to search it, it doesn't come up on Google, but I was sent the link for it directly. So like I saved the link on my taskbar so I can check it every once in a while. Because it's been pretty cool to watch as it grows and like more details are added and stuff. One more to go after this, and then we can see how she's looking. And if all things have gone correctly, as they should, we will have a nice, rough walk cycle with no more weird gaps in it. You should do a donation goal here for you to make like a holiday theme drawing for download on Coffee. That's not a bad idea. Might think about doing that. The real trick, honestly, is just finding the time, because between having like the weekly pages and then working on the shorts for the channel, I'm also working on shorts for Red Pants Productions YouTube channel and like TikTok and everything. And those ones are a fair bit longer and more complicated than the ones that I make, so they take quite a while. So yeah, between all of that, finding time to do extra stuff like this animation that I'm doing here is really tricky. Which is kind of nice. The live stream gives me a moment to work on these kind of things. Does Graycove celebrate Halloween? You know, I was thinking about that the other day and trying to decide what kind of holidays that they would have. And I think they would all be based around like seasonal changes. So yeah, like fall, winter, stuff like that. But I think more so their holidays would be like, you know, just celebrating more earthly stuff, more like the seasonal changes, crops coming in, that kind of stuff. So I don't know if they would have exactly like a Halloween, but they probably would have some kind of fall festival to celebrate, like, you know, all of their crops coming in. It's a volcano ceremony. I don't know where they would get a volcano. But yeah, I definitely need to put more thought into it. I had some ideas in mind a while ago, and I had a note page on my phone going for a minute there, but it's been a while since I've sat down and looked at it and thought about it. Russell could find a volcano. Okay. Looks like that was the last one. So, here goes nothing. Hey, look at that. That one's looking pretty smooth. I'm pretty happy with that. Awesome. Okay, let me just exit out of here. I'm just going to take Russell's. I'm gonna double everything here. Except for this one, because that's the repeat one. And we're just gonna back all of this up. And if I did this correctly, fingers crossed. Oh, that's why. I was like, why is his body disappearing? Perfect. Amazing. Okay. I'm just gonna pick her up, move over, and just like that, we have walk cycles for all three. Obviously, they're not perfect. They're still a little rough. I need to go and do the cleanup sketches, then do the line art, then do all the coloring. So yeah, still a lot of steps I have to do. But they're looking pretty good. And this looks like the best time for us to end the stream for the night. So I'm going to say goodbye to you all. The next page of Graycove comes out tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. PST. So make sure to check that out. And if you're a member on Coffee, then the page after that will be going up on Coffee as line art. And I'll probably try to post another coloring page soon here. Yeah. So yeah, thank you all for joining us, and I hope you all have a lovely evening. Wait, Hazel's tail? Oh my god, you're right, I forgot about her tail. Okay, well, that'll be for another time, off stream probably. I will fix that later, but I'm still gonna have to end the stream for tonight because it's getting a little late. Have a good night. Bye!